Well, okay, my friends, this is stunning, shocker du jour on steroids to the zillionth power. I decided I would go back to my previous interpretations of everything that I have discovered. And this goes back 15 years, about. And you know, in the beginning, there was a couple, 3 years, I was, but I never let up on it. Now, this is 15 years. What I'm going to show you here, there is nobody on a planet that can see this and not be altered. This is ridiculous. This is insanity. What they have missed, what we have missed, and what now is being dismissed. Because of the fact, it really changes everything. There's no question about that. Now, here's the thing. Tonight, we're going to have the Aquarid meteor shower peak. Now, this is about Halley's Comet. And they're going to become streaking through the night sky. These are called Earth grazers. Now, all these things are coming down towards the Earth, and they're going to spin off the edge of the Earth's atmosphere, basically. That's the way I'm seeing this. Now, this has happened many times in the past. Does this mean that we're going to get hit by meteorites? That's happened many, many times. Now, if they're entering into our atmosphere, it depends on a whole bunch of things. And we'll have to see what happens, but this is tonight and tomorrow night, the 5th and the 6th of May 2024. And all this only happens once every, I don't know, 80 years or something. What is it? They're going to have 10 to 30 meteors per hour. And there's a nice little video on it, too. And they're moving fast, 40 miles a second. That's what is burning. It's burning. That's not dust. And I can show that extremely clearly. So what I've decided I have to do is go back through all my early videos, because now I have so much evidence that it's just piling up in stacks. I got to dump it out. I'm going to go like a 10-minute video and make maybe 20 of them. And they're going to cover all the mud fossils. I'm going to go into the light research. We're going to talk about the history, the ancient texts, mythology, biology. All of these, I got a ton of meteorites here. Stuff coming through space is biology. I have lungs here. That's a tiny lung. I don't know what it's from, a chipmunk or something, but it came through space and it cooked off and smelted. And you can't smelt something, its blood is iron, and it's smelted and turns into iron. And you can't turn that into, and you got to be up like 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. You can't do it. It's impossible to do that without this being in a furnace or something. Now, coming through space, they cook off. And all that stuff goes, all the cheap stuff, and you end up with the metals. And not only that, I have another one that's exactly identical, and it's smaller. I have so much evidence. I have at least 2 or more of everything, and all of the biology, the physiology, the structure, DNA tests, CAT scans, across the board. And to not have this allowed in the educational system is it's a disgrace. So I have some people. I have my good friend Paul Amatucci's writing books about stuff that I did here. Just you know, mud fossils, and about back in 2015, I was talking about the Sahara being an ocean, and it drained out over across the top of Atlantis. Electron flood theory. We're going to go into that. Giants and mystery. All right, he's doing a nice job. These are coffee table books. I need to put out something that's this is something you can thumb through. They're very nice. It's not like something you're going to sit down and read all day long. You see, there's a lot of pictures. It's a big wide print. You can make all kinds of notes in here. That's the key. You got to make notes. You don't make your notes, you're done. You got to have notes. Well, at my age, you got to have notes. All right, we're going to I'm going to do just a few more minutes today. Like I said, this is going to be a long and arduous journey, only I think you're going to love it, because I am. I'm already, even today, I found 2 or 3 new things that all match that I just missed. All right, I know that sounds extremely boastful. I figured this out, I did this, I found that. Well, let me tell you something. When I realized how against reality academia is, everything I looked at, I found the same thing. Couldn't care less what they're saying is right. It didn't matter. So where we have to start is on dipole electron flood theory. This is my model. Dipole electron flood model claims 100% of everything is literally made out of light. And it's made of only 2 tiny bits called the electron neutrino and a muon neutrino. They're tiny little bar magnets, literally glue magnetically into masses we call molecules. Or actually, this is a proton. It's not like a proton thing and you could smash it and a bunch of little pieces go here and there. No, it's 1,823 little dipoles. And we did the experiment showing this. Now, this is crazy because it's all over. Look at this. This is my theory. Dipole electron flood model replaces the standard model. Academia.edu. I'm getting a bunch of people hitting on it. This is all my stuff. Electron flood theory discussed. Roger Spur. Even it's on, somebody got it here selling it. That's my paper from 3/1/2019. Roger Spur is an old-fashioned genius. Well, I don't know about that, my friend. I just look. I mean, you don't have to be smart. You don't even have to. A kid is better than somebody that already is programmed. You're programmed. I'm not kidding you. I never thought it was possible. It is possible. It's just impossible for them to observe it in a critical manner. What I'm showing you, there's no way to dismiss it. None, zero. I've had CAT scans and DNA tests. I show this in stunning detail. The light, I show fission, I show fusion of light particles. Not these things. They're working with these. I'm working with these. Totally different thing, but these are what they're trying to get to by breaking these up. See, it's insanity, really insanity. All right, you got to check this out. Like I say, before we can do anything, we have to understand what everything is constructed of. How does it build together? Why does one body part change into opal and another one changes to iron? What's the process there? I understand it. It's nucleophilic substitution. Here I go again. I'm going to stop. But then nobody understands it. This is online courses at Yale. And I took these. I went to, I did an online course at University of Geneva. And I showed them all the stuff. And they asked how did I do it and how did I get the pictures and everything. And I told them use CMOS. And this is back 2015, I think, 2016 tops. And eventually I see they upgraded CERN to use CMOS. No, because they said, no, you can't use CMOS, it'll damage it. I said, you guys are using protons. You're smashing things like this, and now you're getting big globs of things smashing into your CMOS. We're using light. It's designed to pick up that particle. We never started with anything bigger than that, because we were down on the light. But anyway, here's what he says about it. And nobody understands it because they don't understand the fundamental makeup of that proton. That's why they're doing all this stuff. Listen to this now. Hold on, I'll set it up, hold on. Okay, once again, I'm going to do it quick. This is the dipole electron flood theory. It changes a lot, but this is how some of it's similar, but there's only these 2 particles exist, the white electron and the dark muon. And they're the neutrinos. And when you put them together, you get gluons. That's the little bar magnets. 1,823 of these make a proton. But the next stable thing, this is not stable. This is a piece of electric current. That wants to find something to ground into. These are photons. They'll bounce. They're stable. They already got, there's a field around them. This only has a field here. So it changes a lot. Chemistry changes to a degree. Once you get up into the atomic realm, it's altogether different. I'm in the subatomic realm. I am down here, where isotopes are. They have no way to explain isotopes. You say, well, it's a carbon atom. So what about all carbon, all the different isotopes of carbon? Well, they're just not quite carbon, or there's a little excess carbon. What do you mean excess carbon? The way they have it, because you could be missing this much off of a carbon, and it's still carbon. Or you could have that much too many on it, and it's still carbon. But they're just because they're little magnets. But they're not stable. At a certain point, they go, boop, and they lock in. And I believe that's 1823. So I'll be unhappy if you don't watch that next segment that I'm going to have, because it's very important. So I'm going to give you a little snip of it, but then I'll get back to all of the mud fossils and all the other stuff that people see. A lot of people just doesn't turn them on. But you have to understand everything. You see that? We split the light. That's fission. That's fusion. Here it is, muon neutrino, electron neutrino. These aren't mine. This is from CERN, Fermilab. And I went to the University of Geneva. I didn't go there, but I went online, and I discussed all my work with them, and there was no pushback. This is light as it starts to accelerate. Anyway, see, this always happens. I'm going to stop. Now, I have to be honest with you. I like this guy, Professor Shankar. And I watched some of them. But he doesn't understand it. He admits it. Listen to this. That's what I like about him. Listen to this.
This is a very exciting day for me, because today we're going to start quantum mechanics, and that's all we'll do till the end of the term. Now, I got
let me
bad news and good news. The bad news is that it's a subject that's kind of hard to follow intuitively, and the good news is that nobody can follow it intuitively. Richard Feynman, one of the big figures in physics, used to say no one understands quantum mechanics. So in some sense the pressure is off for you guys, because I don't get it and you don't get it and Feynman doesn't get it. The point is, here's my goal.
Well, he's such a nice guy, and he's engaging, but they're not taking into consideration electron flood theory. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. His goal is to make them go back and say what he said. Well, let me get his goal out there. Hold on.
Right now, I am the only one who doesn't understand quantum mechanics. In about 7 days, all of you will be unable to understand quantum mechanics.
He's right about that.
You can go back and spread your ignorance everywhere else. That's the only legacy a teacher can want. So.
No, he's just being a nice guy. He really, I'm sure he would like the honest truth, but I've tried to contact him and I got no response. But anyway, that's the problem. So until we understand how everything's constructed and how metals move through your bloodstream and everything, how your tendons attach to your bones, all of that is chemistry. And that requires enzymes to work at the speed of life. Requires enzymes. Enzymes are some of the most exotic chemistry sets there ever has been. They do more chemistry in a quarter of a second than happens in years without that catalyst, that enzyme. And the enzyme comes from a bacteria. So that's the whole, we got a lot to do. Listen, look at this. This is an artery. That's an artery. That's actually the blood in the artery. And this is the other side, it's still packed in. I cut it down here so I can see all the layers. I know exactly what it is. It's an artery. And I can tell you exactly what that is, too. And there's another one over here. These are the details. Nobody sees this stuff. That's why I say, I went back and I'm looking over all my old stuff. It's just blowing my mind. All right, I think I might have already shown you this, but this is what's happening. Every so many years, we pass through this path of all these particles, and they say, well, it's coming off of Halley's Comet. Well, how big is Halley's Comet? How big are these chunks? I mean, they burn up in the atmosphere because that's what is combusting with all of the things coming through or creating the meteorites. Like I say, this is a iron meteorite. And that's a lung from some kind of creature, and there's still red blood in there. I put it in a microscope, you put a little water on it, you can see it, there's no problem whatsoever. They should very easily be able to get some kind of a DNA signature out of here. For what it is, I have no idea. And like bones like that, that's a bone. But it's a mud fossil now. And all this stuff happened during the Great Flood, and it was not that long ago. That's where the marrow is in the center. And like I say, this is just, it's stunning, it's unbelievable, but it's true. And I also had that DNA tested and CAT scanned and everything else. Flat as a pancake from the flood. So the next one is going to be about what's going on with all the electronics and the dipole electron flood theory and all that stuff, because that's very important to me, because that's light accelerating. Now, this was done by Rod Warren, and I thank God for him doing this, but that's accelerating, and here it is in full acceleration mode. Because it's going through a Venturi, it accelerates. It's just as simple as that. A Venturi is a restriction. A big thing comes in, a small thing goes out much faster. And so the light actually is a particle. That's the particle. Well, here I go again. All right, like I said, I'm going to keep this very short. Tonight we're going to have this meteorite shower. Well, where do meteorites come from? I say they're all body parts. This is Comet 67P. That is blood boiling out of an artery. And these are blood vessels. And the sun hits them just the right way. There's nothing to buffer that sunlight. This is like cooking it in an infrared oven or whatever kind of oven, and it's just and it's smoking. That's actually gases of blood, and they have tested it. They went right and landed on this thing. All right, this goes back to 2015. And they said, yeah, it was all organic. Yep. And then they all went home. So I just showed you that. Now, what is it? It's a hip joint. You see this thing right here? That's the ball, and there's the hip. So, and they break right like this. And there's somewhere in there's an artery which was shooting out all that blood, and the rest it had to go up to service. And that's why one of them's huge, and all the rest are little coming around it to service the muscle or wherever it is, you know. But anyway, that's that. And here it is up close, and you can see, this is tendon. You take this to any anatomist, they'll know that. These are tendon fibrils. And this is a bundle of either muscle or tendon fibrils. I think it could be either one. But this is huge. This thing's gigantic. If this hit Earth, it would not be a good day. Now, these are Earth grazers. They come past. Now, why do you think... You know, you only got so much distance to play with. Anyway, so that's the things, and here they are in a regular human. And these are human body parts, but I'm sure they all have the same thing. All creatures, I don't know. But that's the ball, and there's the little thing, and it fractures right down here. Only I think ours fractured up right about here. More. But anyway, that's what it is right there. And of course the other one, well, here's one that has all the stuff to go with it. You see it? There it is right there. These are those tendons I showed you. And then there's going to be some blood supply. You have to have blood supply everywhere. So the blood was shooting out there out of that artery. And I actually have a shot of that artery somewhere. Well, maybe not. No, I don't. Anyway, you know, we're looking at things in space. This is insanity. And they smelt off coming towards Earth. And that's why you end up with these iron meteorites. And that's blood. That red right there is red blood. You see that? All these different metals are what's in blood. They did just a test, 26 panels of test of all the different metals, plus then you got a whole bunch of other ones they didn't test for, but iron is primarily iron oxides, all different states of iron. As you breathe, some of it's oxygenated, some of it isn't, and then there's some other things that adhere to that iron and drag it through the body. Primarily it's oxygen. And all these things in space, we got to go over all this stuff. So I'm going to cut it off today. Thank you. I love you all.